Hello everyone, welcome back to, I changed the name to Ideas because, you guys are not the one doing experimentations, I'm the one doing the experimentations. So, I thought it was a weird name to give to the series, so instead I changed it Ideas. It's not that original, but, I think it's a more fitting name. So yeah, welcome to Minecraft Ideas. This time, last time, we checked the farmlands, so this time we're gonna go check on some walls, more like street walls or outside walls, not indoor walls, if you get what I mean. So first of all, we got a castle wall. Fun fact, I have actually never made a castle wall until now. I know like in Minecraft, it's like the first thing you do as a kid, you make a castle, but I'm really not into that kind of builds. When I was a kid, I made my fair amount of dirt houses, but I never made a castle. So this is actually a first. I kind of went, ham with all the kinds of materials. As you can see below here, I tried to put a little reference on the left here, but it's not really 100% correct, as I also use some coral blocks on the bottom, with more cracked stones. And let's just put it right in here, yeah. Right, so let's talk about the building a little bit. So I got a little, I don't know what it's called, it's a keep I guess? Is it a keep? I don't know. The defense for all the castle was mostly like those man-made rivers around the castle. I think it's a keep, I don't know. So the man-made rivers do give you extra protection, and it's some overgrown thingies over here with the leaves and the azalea blossoms. Then the wall itself, I tried to make it look so much older, like this castle has been here for at least like 100 years. It has seen its fair amount of sieges, and therefore you also have some debris on the floor over here, and also some cuts in the castle wall itself. As you can see over here, there's like a little crack and some cracked bricks as well. It's like they fired a trebuchet and it hit the castle wall, and try to give that feeling. Same thing with the roof as well. I tried to have it a little bit broken here and there, as some arrows or maybe some stones got through it and broke parts of the roof. Anything else here, as all the debris fell from the roof and the flooring, you're bound to have some cracks and some holes in your floor, and that's what I try to do here with the trapdoors and the campfires. So other than that, try to get some hanging roots on the side, as you're bound to have some nature going into your building after a while. You can also enter this wall. Probably if you use this kind of wall around your castle, then you probably have an entrance somewhere. I don't have an entrance, but if you do it, then you can probably go over here. There's also a small detail. I used a couple fences on the side, on the right side, that's the inside of the wall, right? As you probably don't want to have an entrance on the outside, and it's not that protective. Like imagine you're just walking over here, you're getting your armor, and then some weird guy from the outside drops some lava through it. That's not something you want to happen. So that's why it's only on the inside of the wall to try to use some fences for extra airflow and light. This is how it looks in the dark. As you can see, it's not that lit up. Some parts of the upstairs area are lit up, and from the inside it's not that lit up. I guess some of the light comes through the cracks, as you can see, because it's not entirely dark. And next up, we got this funny little frog wall. Try to do some major city wall, I guess, like New York or London, or you know what I'm talking about. Those big cities which aren't the cleanest of cities. Got all the kind of paper on the floor as well. Got some, maybe a Starbucks cup over here. I also got some sewage over here, with some glow lighting coming out of it, as some mold or moss, and some mossy cobblestone in the back. The flooring, I tried to switch it up with deep laid tiles and mud. And as for the walls, you can see, placed over here, huge granite, terracota, red terracota, brown mushroom blocks as well, and bricks as the main component. That gives some overgrown feeling as well, with the grow lichen, the vines, the air conditioning component over here, which goes back here. Maybe it goes inside the building, we don't know. The kitty is chilling over here, and some more overgrown aspects on the top of it. This place as well, just a blast furnace, and below that is a campfire, which gives a metro vibe, like there's a train going under beneath it, and that's the heating that you feel if you run over it. It comes up. A small motorcycle as an extra detail. Someone parked their motorcycle, as you can see, and went on with your day. Probably supposed to be graffiti, as you see a lot in big cities. Like all of the walls are either vandalized or they just put up an art on it. You also got a street lantern over here. And this is how it looks like at night. It's very ominous, it's very dark, but it's just lit up well enough so you can see what's going on. Then next up we got a weird little experimentation I did. As you see, it's in the title. Well, it was in the title. But I tried to do some futuristic, very linear building with a lot of advertisements and beautiful, well, not beautiful, but just over the top lightning, over the top darkness, and those dystopian futuristic video games you sometimes have where everything like let's say cyberpunk, right? It's clean but it's also dirty at the same time. Like it's very dystopian, it's very depressing, and that's what I tried to do here. I got some electrical components on the roofing with some electrical wires coming from this side of the street to the other side of the street. If you have the same wall on the other side of the street, you can connect them up, or maybe you got some power lines over there as well, so you can all connect them up so it looks very, like all those electrical wires are going everywhere. So about the build itself, there's not really that much to say. I tried to switch it up a little bit. So beneath here you got some lightning with white stained glass next to smooth stone and polished andesite to get that very clean feeling. The walls itself are black stone, deep slate, and polished basalt. For the signs, I just used banners right behind of pearlescent frog light, and I use hang signs with glowy ink sacs to give the glow in the dark effect on the sign on the left. This is a trash can with some smoke coming out of it. As it says, it's almost filled and summer, so it starts to ferment, I guess. Yeah, started from fermentation process, and that's why it's smoky. For the light, you basically just use a lot of observers. Look over here, there's an observer going in the middle, as you can see over there. Then there are observers looking at them, and going all the way over here, and then other observers looking at those observers, and then going up. And then other observers looking at those observers going into the light. And I guess it's laid out like this and that. It goes in both directions, like the effect you're looking at right now. I think it will look very cool if you make the timing a little bit slower and have an extremely long wall. So it goes all the way over there, and it just takes a while to come back here. I think that might be very cool. So this is how this wall looks like at night. You can see it's not that dark, it's actually very light, and even lights up even more once the redstone goes off. Honestly, if we are talking about vibe, I think this one will do wonderful if you use it in like a cyberpunk city. And then last but not least, some beautiful fairy wall. As for this wall, I would suggest if you use this kind of wall, only use this kind of compartment every now and then, or else it's going to be very busy and it's going to be very overwhelming to have all these patterns next to each other. So instead of doing that, use these fences and just keep it going like this. And behind those fences, as you can see, use some leaves maybe, like this. And then have this going on for, let's say 20-30 blocks or 40 blocks even. Then do another one of these. You can even make like a gateway of this if you remove the wall, and you can go through them. But beside those technicalities, let's look at the build itself. Try to use the gradient of pink and purple to make it very fairy-like, and I used some mushrooms on the side of the wooden blocks to give you those overgrown feeling once again. Same thing up here with the leaves. A lot of overgrown stuff in this episode, but it just makes everything so much more beautiful. I try to use a lot of pink little touches here and there, and as with the cherry leaves over here and baubles up there to give it more of a, well, unity, I guess. There's two different kind of wooden blocks as well, the mangrove and the cherry wood, to give it more of a variation. Other than that, I try to have multiple levels in this wall, so it doesn't look as flat. Use pink lace terracota, give it an extra small detail. And over here you see the color palette, as I said, nether brick slabs on the bottom, but to be honest, it could be any kind of slab. But I would suggest using a dark slab, or using maybe birch. Birch would work as well, but then I would also maybe change the wooden blocks you use for the outlining of the wall. So above this wall we got this little compartment where you use glass, and behind the glass I use some light sources to give your wall a little bit more light. Try to use a lot of hidden lights as well. You can see over there the frost lights, and here's the shroom lights. Put it in the sides, and then it gives a beautiful glowing effect for your beautiful wall. And here's how it looks like at night. As I said, it gives a beautiful effect, like the pink gets even pinker, and it really plays in the effect of a fairy land or fairy world. There you go, that was another episode of Minecraft Ideas this time. It's not experimentations, that word is just way too long, and I just think the idea is more fitting. I also can get that word on my screen maybe. Yeah, there we go, there it is, there it is. Look at that, it fits entirely on my screen, which is something I will never use after this episode, but you know, it's the thought that counts, right? Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I'll see you guys in the next one. See you.